Heavenly Father, we come to you as humble and we know how. Thank you for your grace and for your mercy. Lord God, we just pray that the words that we say be edifying and uplifting, Lord God, that we don't do any damage to each other, Lord God, and that the words that we speak be exponentially amplified for your glory, for your profitable of your kingdom, Lord God, and for rebuilding relationships and marriages and conversations, Lord God, that draw people closer to you. We thank you for the ability to do this. Pray that you give us patience, Lord God. Let us have soft answers to turn away wrath, Lord God, and keep from stirring up any anger, Lord. We thank you for who you are and who you always been. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I don't think I need to pray. That was really good. Normally we do 2 prayers. She doesn't record hers, and we record mine.
Okay.
But that was an amazing prayer. It always is, but I think it's important because they need to know that you pray too. You are a prayer warrior. Cool.
Well,
you good with that?
I guess we gonna keep it rolling. Hey y'all, what's up?
Howdy.
Myron got his little microphone. He think he doing something today.
Yeah. Give me the mic. And I got my whistle. Yeah.
All right, so
Just in case she throw a foul on the play.
do they throw flags or do they end blow a whistle? Cause where your flags at?
I got something I can throw at you.
All right, y'all.
Thank y'all for tuning in for the 6th or 5th? 6th episode of Unpopular Opinion with Mr. and Mrs. C. We are blessed to have you guys here. We hope that we are a blessing to you. We really strive to help people. We get get asked advice a lot because we've been married for such a long time, and we're still growing. We're still learning, and we hope to share things that could help you. We believe in each one teach one.
For sure.
We continue to learn from people that's been doing it less time and more time. We learn new things to help us with our marriage, and hopefully we can share something that'll be a golden nugget for you.
Okay. So since last time you talked about your hat and the X's with it, I feel like it's March for most of the people that's getting ready to see this in a day or so. We're wrapping up rodeo, which is all the things. It's about 24, 25 days if you're adding cook-off.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Which is really a month. You know, the shortest month in the year is 28 days. So it's really like a full month for us of just activities and service and all the things. And maybe we should have an episode we talk a little bit more about why we do what we do. But the short version of it is the Houston Livestock Rodeo Show, a very big popular show. It's a huge scholarship organization for the youth. Really, that's what it comes down to, with a lot of fun, carnival rides, family events, and we got involved with it because our boys were 4-Hers. And for those that don't know, Google it. It is an amazing
4-H and FFA.
They didn't do FFA.
But I'm saying 4-H and FFA are great programs. They're very similar.
Yes.
FFA is more likely a part of the school.
Yes.
And 4-H you can join when you're very young. And it has everything from shooting shotguns to taking pictures.
Yeah, we did.
To art, to
leadership, archery. We didn't do
food,
cooking, quiz bowls, state ambassadors, healthy ambassadors.
Go to state capitals. You do a lot.
We did a lot.
And it's an active thing for the parents, but
for sure, it was fun. It was exhausting, but it was fun. Our boys gleaned a lot of skills from that. Of course, livestock as well. We
raised rabbits.
And we didn't do FFA, which is the high school version, because they had been doing it for a while, and they weren't big competitors when it came to like the livestock, and they wanted to do some other things, so they kind of was like, okay. So our oldest,
JT was the president of his
he did it through high school, but he didn't do FFA version. So, building and things like that, but they did do some building,
and that was a pretty big deal to be the president of his 4-H club. That was a pretty big deal.
He did a good job with that. It was lots of leadership, lots of community work. I mean, that's the basis of the program. But Google it, y'all. It's good for your kids if they're not doing other sports and stuff like that. Even if they are, I think it's an exceptional program, kind of like Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, stuff like that. But we got on green.
She made me wear this, so.
So can y'all guess what we're talking about today?
The moolah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we did green.
And she represent my Mexico hat.
Well, it was green, so it was in a closet. I was like, "Oh, can I wear your hat?" So
It's one of my favorite places to visit, Mexico.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Not at the moment, but
yeah, right. That part.
Can't wait to go back.
And then we had to represent. We had to. I don't know if y'all can see it. I got my socks on.
What's that smell?
Don't do that. It's Operation Hope. For those of you who know anything about John Hope Bryant, who is a giant in the financial literacy arena, which follow him, check him out. He does a lot of great things for community. And it's all about like financial literacy for all. If you go to Operation Hope, you can find literacy, information, help. You want to build a business. They do a lot of grants. They do a lot of great stuff for the community. He's serious about that. And so April 30th is going to be Green Socks Day. And it's just awareness. And so you can get the socks online. I bought them because I follow him and I believe in what he's doing for the community. And I just felt like since we were talking about money, it was very fitting to wear the socks because we're all about money in terms of financial literacy, understanding just what that looks like and what that means and how that's helped us as we have progressed and matriculated through our marriage. So today it's money, mindset, and what was the third one? Marriage.
Yeah. And that was one of the things that of course, it was conflict over finances was one of the top things that people got divorced from. We discussed that on the last episode.
Yeah.
That was something that was really important.
Indirect, for sure. Yeah. And I said, I think I wanted to take an opportunity for us to kind of like explain to how we evolved, some things we learned, some things that kind of made some mistakes on, and what we've seen, you know, over 20 years and just different relationships and things like that. Nothing in particular, but just some things that maybe can help somebody, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. Because with money, I mean, the idea is to do something with it and have it grow, just like your relationship grows. But with that comes a lot of different other elements, depending on what your soil look like. I'm gonna use soil because I like playing in the dirt, planting different, you know, vegetables, plants, or whatever. It took me a long time to get it right. But it's soil. You can learn a lot from just planting something and seeing how it matures and how it grows. And so, let's start.
That's a good analogy because you think about, as believers, we should have good fruit, and you can't have good fruit if you don't have good soil and a good root foundation. So that's really important.
Absolutely. I mean, you saying something because I remember when y'all used to always talk about me. You talking about you and the boys when it came to planting things. I would plant something, it would die. So just I had the purple thumb is what they called it. And then I finally got a hold of some plants that were actually, you know, hardy enough to survive me. Now
them plants will grow in the concrete. Some of them plants, some of them we don't want, and they still grow.
I've had plants that I have plucked out the ground, like threw it in a bucket or a box or whatever. I'm like pulling stuff, and it starts to grow from the box. Like if it has the right nutrients. So for example, when you're planting anything, your soil has to have certain things like nitrogen and oxygen, or, you know, it's all these different elements. Don't get me started. I ain't that scientific, but it has to have like water, sun, and the nutrients, right? This is basic level. And some nutrients are so powerful that once that plant has absorbed it, if it can just get a little bit of sun and it rain, it's going to continue to grow, whether it's in a great rich soil pot or in a box. No lie. Seen it happen. But when it comes to relationships, I think money it's a breaking point. It can make you or break you. So what are some things that you think early on got you thinking about money, or changed your view about money, or maybe helped us when it came to money?
Man, so I'm gonna take it all the way back to when I was a youngster. I basically had this girl tell me I was broke, and man, I was always a hustler, but that made me realize that there's so many people that are visually, like, they always counting your pockets. So it made me kind of be on my grind a lot more. And I realized how important money is to certain people. It's not that important to me. But in marriage, I understand that it's important to have stability. Okay. And those are one of those things that I found that really disturbs your spirit. So when I was young, yes, I realized, okay, money is important to others. You got to keep your paper up. And I never really been broke, but I just don't spend like everybody else. Like when everybody else spends a bunch of money, I won't. Agree with that. Right? So there's a lot of people that I know that drives Benzes and Beamers and this and that, and they don't have nothing wrong with that. But their finances are not appropriate to be driving certain cars. Give an example, a little off topic, but same. My nephew is doing well. He's in college. He's has a full-time job. He getting his grown man on. He's currently still staying at home, so he's not fully in that grown man spot, but he's making those pretty good, responsible decisions for his age. And we started talking about finances, we started talking about investments, and he doesn't have any investments. He doesn't have certain things that he, as a grown man having a good job, needs to start thinking about, and what I would like him to think about, and his father as well. And he was talking about buying a Beamer, and I had to respectfully tell him in love, like, that's stupid, right? Because, first of all, Beamer is a horrible car if you can't afford it. Okay. If you don't have the coin for the Beamer or the Benz, especially if you're buying an older car with over 100,000 miles or 90,000 miles, we've done it, so we know. For sure. It is a horrible decision to make. The amount of money that you think you're saving by getting a cheap car, it's the reason why it's cheap. That upkeep is going to be expensive. Mm-hmm. And so while you looking like you got it, you really ain't got it, because you got to pull out that credit card every time you go to the shop for the maintenance, which those cars require maintenance, and everybody can't work on it, which requires more money. So those type of decisions are the kind of things that I think about, and I thought about when I was young. I had to learn some hard lessons, but I try to share with others so they don't make the same bad mistakes.
Man, you said so much. Okay, a couple things I want to respond to. That was all good too, by the way. And if I forget, we'll just come back.
I said a lot.
Yeah, you did say a lot. It was good though. So more than anything I heard was mindset, and then emotions. So I hear you referencing back in the day, and you've said this before, somebody talked about your car and then it made you want to, level up, so to speak. So I think that is an emotional thing, and we don't even realize it, but how, and you said money's not important to you. I don't think money per se is important to you, but all the things that money allows you to have are important to you. So therefore money kind of is important to you.
I mean, I don't idolize money, right?
That's different. Right. For sure. Because
I keep money. I appreciate money.
Right.
But
you work hard for money.
Yeah, I work hard for money.
But it's different.
Yeah, I don't love it. I really don't.
You won't compromise your integrity for it. No. That's different. Yeah. There's some things, like somebody may say, well, if you do this, I'll give you that. And there's a line where you're like, no, it's not that important, because, it's just.
Some people will sell their soul.
They will sell their soul.
Like some people, I'll put on a dress, just cut a check. Not me.
What was the Bible say? For the love of money is the root of all evil. So
the love though, that's the important part.
Well, I don't forget what that was. I think it's Timothy. I'll put it on the podcast. I think it's Timothy, if I'm not mistaken. 1 Timothy 6, maybe 10. Don't quote me. Hope that's right. But anyway, going back to what you were saying, in terms of the mindset and the emotion, I think that money. Matter of fact, I know for a fact money is, what they call it in the brain, in the front part of the brain is the reward center. Something I'm not a PhD when it comes to brain and anatomy, but I do know that our frontal cortex, that's the part of our brain that develops as we matriculate, and emotions are tied to that. So when it comes to desires and wants, it triggers that part of our brain that makes us excited and want to, our emotions get involved. And when your emotions get involved, you see something that you really, really want, then you're like, well, what do I need to do to get that? And that's kind of how the cycle starts.
Yeah. Well, and I can say that does motivate me. I've never been a hater to see somebody doing well. But I have been that kid when I was young to see people getting money, and it motivates me to get money, right? And it's important to use that in a positive way to get positive resources, like positive ways to get money, and not do it negative ways. And I've taken chances that I had no business taking to get money, and there's really no long-term reward for that. And man, it's so good to not have to look over your shoulder to get money in a legal way, and be able to, like, I had to pray about being stingy too, because I used to be ready to hurt somebody over $20, you know. But I asked the Lord to, like, take that away from me and allow me to be a person that could be a blessing. And we've given.
Yeah, for sure.
And to be honest with you, most people don't give back. We've had people we came into blessings and blessed people with money with commas on it and with a comma, and then they receive a blessing that's bigger and better, and they don't return that same blessing. And it's okay, because we don't do it for that.
Thank you. I mean, you reap what you sow, and at the end of the day, I do things from the lens of I'm never going to try to do something to harm somebody, because I don't want that to come back on me, and that's just not who I am. But if I want to bless you, or I'm going to do because I want to do it, not because I'm going to do it with the hopes that if you get it, you do it back. You know, like no, that's not really.
But you do take note.
I do take note. I mean, I am. I was, very transparent moment. I remember when my boys were little, and for those parents that
I can't believe you telling this.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real. You say be transparent, and so my kids, we would have birthday party, and they were close in age, and so it's like $20, $30, $40 a head, depending on where you have your party. Man. And
you got to invite the whole class.
You got to invite the whole class, right? So this is when they were in private school,
even the back
in private school. So you invite everybody in class, and I remember there been times where I'm like, all right now, I see 20 heads. I see 5 gifts on the table. Where my baby gifts?
And they bring brothers and sisters, and
you bring your siblings.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was definitely petty Betty in that regard, because it was, again, we didn't have a whole lot of resources, right. So money was tight. It was
a poor fireman, man.
So we talked about that money, mindset, marriage. So let's talk about that mindset. Mindset is everything, because if I think you gonna get over on me, or I can't trust you, or somebody else hurt me, and there's all these other emotional layers in my mind, I can create false narratives. Mm-hmm. I can say, okay, well,
I can see that happen with other people often.
But when you got a relationship, everybody is different. We're not saying this is a one size fit shoe or one size fit all shoe. But what I am saying is trust is a component. Trauma is a component. I always talk about trauma, because trauma could be good, bad, or indifferent, but it weighs onto how you deal with things. And if you've been hurt or betrayed, and then you got the same scenario, maybe a different character, same plot, you gonna move differently.
Yeah. So it might be easier to go off on a negative side if you've already been hurt in that way.
Yeah, for sure. And you got to know, like, I think some clear conversations need to be had. And some people, like, when it comes to bank accounts, they be like, nah, yours and mine. Like, you got yours, I got mine, and we're going to keep it like that. And
I look at that as roommates, personally. If you can't trust your husband or wife with the finances, then I don't know why you got married. I mean, you sleeping next to them at night, hopefully. And if you're sleeping next to somebody, there's nothing more vulnerable in that time. They could put a knife to your neck, hot water. Like, there's so many things that they could do, because you're vulnerable when you sleep. You have to be able to trust the person that you have that union with. If you can't trust that person to that level with your life, man, you need to get some help.
No, fast. I disagree. That's your opinion, and let me tell you why I disagree.
Why?
Because I think that everybody's different, and so, for example, I trust you to be yourself. So I trust you to, if I bring some Oreo cookies in here, I know your self-control is limited when it comes to like
just call me fat.
or if I bring in something you like to eat. So I cannot expect, if your nature or you have an affinity to this thing and your self-control is, that muscle is not as developed, I can't trust you to have the self-control that I know you don't have. So, or maybe you haven't grown to have that self-control. Like, so for example, maybe back in the day you used to eat a whole roll. Maybe now you'll only eat half the roll. But you had to grow to get there. So if somebody...
I don't allow Oreos in the house because I eat the whole pack.
He does not allow Oreos in the house. That's exactly why I say Oreos, because he don't have no self-control when it comes to Oreos.
It's not that I don't have self-control. I just like them. So I got self-control not to buy them and not to allow them in the house.
But then you penalize everybody else.
You can have as many Oreos as you want outside.
See, he don't have self-control when it comes to Oreos. Point exactly. So if somebody doesn't necessarily have that, they have formulated that muscle when it comes to finance. Like, some people say, and if teachers each his own, I'm gonna have fun before I pay any bill. And then you wind up in foreclosure or eviction notice on the door. That's not healthy.
Or
that's not wise.
Or a car, like the car notes now are, for a new car, is approximately $700 to $1,000, right?
That's crazy.
If you think about that, I mean, with all of the features that cars have nowadays, it makes sense for it to be more expensive. But I don't know if it makes sense to be that expensive. And then when you take on the fact that a lot of people end up trading in a car that's upside down, they're still responsible for that money that they do, and they just trade in to get more, and it just gets rolled over into that financing, and it's just a horrible decision. I've never had a new car. My wife has had a new car before, but even with that, the only reason we bought that new car because we bought at a horrible time right after Cash for Clunkers, and it was cheaper to get a new car than it was a slightly used car. That was a unique experience.
Very much so. But
I have had a new motorcycle, and that was a horrible decision.
So a new motor vehicle. So you've had a new motor vehicle.
A motorcycle is way cheaper than a car, though.
Yeah, sure, but
way
it's still
cheaper.
Brand new.
It was still brand new, and it was still a horrible decision. The depreciation that most people get when they get new cars is bad. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but a lot of people are broke, and a lot of people make bad decisions, and that's just one of those things that's avoidable. You can not have a car note, for example. It's one of the things we wanted to do for our boys to help them financially. My mother did it for me. She was able to help me get my first car. She paid half, and that was a blessing. So when I was in the military, I didn't have a car note. Matter of fact, in high school, I had two cars. I had a LAC and I had a little Toyota, and took the Toyota to the military and didn't have a car note. And there was a lot of folk getting beat over the head.
That's a lesson there. I didn't have a car in high school. I didn't get a car until I could afford it myself.
You rode with me, though.
As a young adult. But there's a lesson in that. It's just, so ideally this is money, mindset, and marriage.
Yeah.
But let's say you've made a whole bunch of poor decisions because you didn't have the financial literacy. You didn't have the right nutrients in your soil to grow your plant of finances, or maybe your circumstances didn't allow. When you come together, one recommendation I would have is to be honest, forthcoming, and put all your cards on the table. So for us, it wasn't many cards because we were...
I took her to buy our first car.
No,
I did.
No,
I did.
Okay, in your mind, you did.
She ordered a car online that she never got. That don't count. I took you to get your first car.
In the States, you did. But that doesn't count as your first car if it's occurred before. So
you had a car?
I absolutely did.
She bought like a $200 car from her friend. That don't count.
Yeah.
I raised her. I took her to get her first car.
We go. No, you did not. Semantics matter. It was not my first car.
Okay.
We on the whole podcast arguing. I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm not arguing. I know. I took you to get your first car.
We're going to let them have it. Moving on. Put all your cards on the table, y'all, if you can. And whatever agreement,
I saved you.
Whatever, you think so? I'm gonna let you have that.
100%.
Whatever agreement you guys have, if it works for you guys, go with that. As long as no turmoil or there's no resentment or there's no frustration or anger or hostility in the actual decision, and it needs to be both parties. It can't just be one person making all the decisions like, well, this is what we're gonna do, and then the other person.
Well, if you don't have your finances together, then how does that work?
It's still a conversation between two parties because
that still seems like roommates to me. We just gonna have to disagree.
Two become one. So it's
that's not becoming one. If you have your finances separated, I'm not saying like you can't have a little account, not have a little account. We have a joint account, but the majority of the finances should be a discussion.
Absolutely.
Should be a meeting, right?
Sure.
Should be something that we talked about. I'm gonna tell you, I made a foolish mistake at the rodeo. I got to sit in one of them massage chairs, and this saleswoman started talking to me, and I wanted to buy it already. And she was like, man, I was like, how much can I get the floor model for? And we worked out a deal, man. Next thing I know, I'm ready to buy it. It's ready to come to the house. And that's never something I would do without talking to my wife. So the lady said, hey, that's fine. We can get all the paperwork done and you can talk it with your wife. And if you guys decide you don't want it, we could just cancel it. So I did that. Foolish. I did it. And, Willa got the email saying it was on the way for delivery, but I had already told her. Excuse me. I already told her, so it wasn't like I was trying to hide it. But I thought she was about to cut my neck.
So let's backtrack some. Discussions. One, roll back even further. When we first started and we discussed our bills, which is a tool I think everybody should incorporate. Even if you're going to discuss what you paying and that person's discussing what they paying, make sure everything's covered, right? And discuss the bills, the goals, the objectives. What does your family want to do? What do you want to invest? What are you saving for? What are you paying off? Do you have debt? Do you want a new car? Like that, all of those things are discussions. So when we were first started out, we wouldn't spend a certain amount without calling each other. One,
it was $50 at that time.
One, out of respect. Two, I had to make sure it was $50 in the account because it was tight. Like I would pay all the bills. I would do a zero-based budget. I've
been at Walmart where they get that little receipt. Some of y'all ain't never seen that little receipt, and then you get on the phone like, babe, she's like, well, it ain't enough money in that account. You should have called me before you.
So I can transfer.
I can transfer some money, but you're going to have to wait a little bit. That was before the apps were like they are now.
Because I was zero-based our budget that we were constantly swiping with.
Dave Ramsey.
We would have another account where, we were building our emergency fund or saving. But, like, that keeps you from, like, that kept you a lot of days.
It's like when you call a number, you hit the we're sorry.
Anyway.
And they give that little look, they like slide it over.
Going back to the discussion in the bills. So he goes to the rodeo to go get this chair. He told me what the number was, and we're not even going to say. And he said, here's the paperwork. I said, I don't even need to look at the paper because what number you just told me.
She said it very masculinely.
What did I say?
Like, no, that ain't happening.
No, he did bring me.
We ain't about to get no chair, cuz.
No, that's not how that went. So, anyway, his narrated version is his version, but how it really went is he brought the paper home and he told me, and I said, well, how much is it? It was a lot. And I said, well, ain't no need me.
It was like 64.
Okay, it was a lot.
$6,400.
And that's a lot. If it ain't in your budget, like, hey, let me just get you a $6,400 chair that you can get for $2,000.
I was excited though, man.
Anyway, so I said, well, no need me.
Our last chair broke. That's why we're in the market for a chair.
Well, no need for me to open the paper. So then we go to he said, well, babe,
there ain't gonna be no chair in this house.
So then we go look at it. I am not an emotional buyer at this point in my life. There were times where I was. Emotion, I'm telling y'all. Matter of fact, I got
Unless I tell her no.
So
then she get
I'm gonna pull this out. Does this make you feel any type of way? It's just $100. Whatever. Does it?
That's why you had to do it.
Yeah, because I just feel like when you see money, when you see money, you move differently. Like, I've played games before, right? And you know how they'll have like a little cup and it'll be like, I don't know, $5, $10, $20. And then if it's like $100 bill under the cup, you like, all right, I'm winning. I'm grandma, don't even play. Like, you're knocking everybody over to win, because money can be emotional. Like, it just is. Anyway, we get there, we go look at the chair. I'm like, okay, I'll get in the chair. I'll go, I'll lay down in the chair.
Zero gravity.
It was nice, but I was like,
I
asked the lady, help me understand, why would I pay this X when I can get it for Y? And she was like, well, she gave me some reasoning, and it wasn't too bad. But I was like, it's not justifiable. So I'm like, no, ma'am, no, thank you, but no, thank you. And then we get the email, because he should never sign anything. You should never put your name down on paper. You shouldn't have did none of that.
You better put some respect on my name.
You should have did none of that.
See how her voice got deep? You should have did none of that, cuz.
Long story short, talk to each other.
Yeah.
If you are at a couple.
And I was embarrassed because, we've been married for over 20 years, and I don't make mistakes like that, and I did. And I'm not an emotional buyer, but I know I'm in the market for a chair. But we also have some real estate stuff that we're trying to invest in. So if I spend that $6,500, then I'm going to forego on some maintenance that we have to do for
windows,
property that we're doing.
Drywall, all type of stuff.
It's not the right time to do that when I can get some more, invest in something else that'll have more cash flow that will pay for that chair later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before I want to make sure we not getting off on a tangent. We have to make sure that when we've talked about, marriage, mindset, emotions, all that thing, the brain, we talked about, make sure we put the financial literacy, but that is so important. Financial literacy. I did not grow up understanding even what a credit score was. I just didn't. It just wasn't a conversation. Like, it was not that it's bad. It's just, we didn't talk about FICO scores at the dinner table. What that means.
Yeah, my experience was a little different. My mother went through, hopefully she don't get mad at me again.
Just say you had some situations that helped.
No, my mother went through a divorce. And when she went through the divorce, that messed up her credit because she ended up having to deal with everything. Well, the reason I'm explaining this like I am, I guess it's telling her business, but the reason I'm saying it like this is because it taught me, right, how important it was to maintain good credit, right? I watched her struggle because she had to pay for everything. Yeah. So whenever that happened, I don't know the details of it, but she ended up having to pay for everything. So when you have to pay for things that you wasn't intending to pay for by yourself, when it was 2 and now it's 1, that's not fair, right? So it made me realize how important credit was. I never missed payments until I got married.
Yeah, I did miss one payment. Well, I didn't even miss payment because a missed payment technically is 30 days.
Well,
and we didn't.
Best Buy said you missed a payment.
Okay.
And so I made sure that I always made my payments and that my credit score was good. But at the same time, a good credit score doesn't mean you have money. And people are overjoyed about having a good credit score, which that's good, but at the same time, it's like a score saying that you borrow money well.
It's your debt score.
Yeah,
it's just a debt score, and but in this world, in this capitalist world, you gotta have those. You gotta color in the lines in terms of you need that number in that FICO score
if you're gonna borrow money.
Yeah, but most people don't go buy $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 cars cash. So one, they don't want to let all of their actual cash go on a depreciating asset.
Okay.
Unless it's a business decision, which is a whole nother conversation. If you're buying a home, if you're buying a $500,000 home, some people can maybe spend $400,000 out of an account or their investments, but most people are going to go get a mortgage. In order to get a mortgage, you got to have a certain credit score to get a better interest rate. So yes, a credit score is important. It is your debt score. All of those different elements within. So it's important to just pay your bills on time. At the end of the day, it's your responsibility. It's your character score. Because if you borrow something, you should pay it back.
You should pay it back.
But situations come up where maybe you can't pay it back. And that I'm not speaking to that. But if you ask somebody for something, give it back. It's based off the terms that you agreed to.
I got so many people that owe me money. That owe us money, I should say. And let me tell you this. This is a good nugget for you guys that are married. All my friends know that when they ask me for money, that I am going to ask my wife for permission to let them borrow money. And I'm not telling nothing that's a secret, because all my partners know, you ask me, I'm going to ask my wife. So they're not going to ask me unless they really, really need it. And she's going to know the amount, and she's going to know the terms and conditions. And, she ain't going to be able to hide her face when she see you if you owe us a certain amount of money and you ain't paid it, and then you come here with some new J's on.
So most of that is true, but it's not because he just want to talk to me and gossip. It's because
definitely not.
We have agreed,
like we talked about just now.
If we have a joint situation, if we need to do X, we gonna talk about it, and he want to know why, like as much as he can. And but the takeaway tools: make sure you are communicating, but not out of fear and not out of trauma.
Yeah.
If at all possible.
I know divorce sometimes
it can
changes.
It can rub you raw. It can, I've seen it. And I also know that, when you enter into another covenant or relationship, don't fault that person for somebody else's mistakes. Even though we kind of do it, that's just who we are as human beings. But if someone tells you this makes me feel like this, be willing and open enough to listen. Because there's been times when, we've had conversation about stuff, and I like the whole chair. Matter of fact, the chair. I was like, I can't believe you did. I couldn't believe you did. I was so disappointed.
I couldn't believe I did it.
And then you said you apologized, and then I had to apologize.
Man, she was talking.
Because I just
it messed my whole day up, man. I'm talking. I woke up when my alarm went off, and it went off early. She was bright eyes, like she was on me and ready to fight right there.
Not ready to fight.
I thought she was about to put hands on me. Man,
they don't think you really getting beat over here. They really don't think that, because you keep talking about how you get beat and you get hurt and all this other stuff.
I'm talking about she was ready to go.
Anyway, back to the tools. Communicate, y'all. Just and if you have a hard time communicating, or you feel like the other person not listening, get some help communicating. Get a friend, get a mentor, get a pastor, get a. Well, I mean, maybe not, because the pastor got a lot of things to do. But
there's somebody. Other pastors than just the main pastor. There's elders at the church.
Get somebody.
There's deacons. There's people.
Some type of say in your life that can speak to your life. And if
there's women of God.
Here's the thing: if there's nobody you can call that can check you, you got a problem. I said it.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a problem.
And she asked me the other day, like, who can you talk to? And I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna say I owe you an apology, because I went at your neck the other day, and I was pretty heated, man. I felt disrespected. I talked to my wife in a way that I wouldn't want somebody talking to my wife or my sister or my mother. And I'm like, man, I can't believe I did that. And it was a misunderstanding. And I didn't, we didn't talk for like a day. Well, yeah.
I mean, it was real surface.
Yeah, we talked, but I'm always about not going to bed angry, boy. But boy, let me tell you, I was angry. I was ready to throw some stuff, tear up some stuff. I was so mad. And it was over our children. I felt like she, and it was over finances. We have kids in college.
Absolutely.
And there's certain things that, if our kids do A, B, and C, we help them with their finances. If they decide to do just A and B, well, then you get C cut off. And that's the way that I've been saying we're going to help them out with their college from the beginning. So if you want to be grown, you're going to be grown, and you're going to be grown all the way. And you're going to be grown up to the point that you listen. The less you listen to us, the less of the finances that we support you in. That's just how. And I thought she went against me, and it was like the world was coming to an end. I felt betrayed, and I didn't even know the story. So I ended up being a fool. about to tear up my house.
So he literally took my head off of his words. But I will say this:
I didn't curse her. Let me say that.
He did.
I didn't call her out of her name, but I might as well have, because if her brother wasn't there, I mean, like if her brother was there, I wouldn't have said that. If her cousin was there, I wouldn't have said that. I was in a place that I've never been. I've never been that mad at you anyway.
He was big mad, and what I can say is, one, I was like in disbelief, and two, I was just like, I'm not participating. So I got my headphones, I put my headphones in, and I was just like, I'm not listening to none of that, because he over there spewing just evil. he cut me up with his words, and I knew he didn't really. Well, no, at the time I didn't know, but I just was in disbelief. And so what I did, it wasn't nothing but the Lord. I had been in my word. I had been in my devotion. And the word, the scripture that's always circling the drain in my head is, a soft answer turns away wrath, and a harsh word stirs up anger.
I'm glad you didn't have no harsh words right there.
So that is my go-to. That, at least that's been my season. That's been my common thing.
Normally it's me with the soft words.
Trying not to stir up my anger. And that day, I was like, okay, when you calm down, we can talk about it,
man.
Because I'm not finna lip wrestle, because he was too mad. He was just too mad. He was too mad. And so I just prayed about it.
I mean, we was about to have special time. Then my son calls, and then all of a sudden, it go from about to have special time to now. Now she's telling him she gonna do something for him that I said no to. You just imagine how. Man,
it's more to it. He really got to deal with some stuff that's in his heart. He needs to do some excavation, because I think we all have things that are deeply rooted in something else, and it can be triggered by something that's like not even directly related. It's indirectly related, and it reminds us of whatever it is that really, really hurt us. So I mean, ain't nobody perfect. I mean, we not perfect. Look, we are. What they say, keeping it 100. And yes, he was about to take my head clean off. But,
not physically.
Yeah, not physically. But again, tools, conversation, dialogue, prayer works.
And I know what it was. I know what it was. My pastor even challenged me, like, hey, man, like, I've had conversations with you. You need to be in your word more. You should know more of your word. You need to study more of your word. And I know I should. And my problem is, I'll look at people around me, right, my circle, and I'm like, I'm the most saved man. I know more scripture than they do. I know more Bible than they do. Instead of making that standard God's standard, I'm trying to look around, and I've made that mistake before. I look around, and if I'm the person, I need to judge myself more off. Like my buddy Ray, right? My financial advisor, he's a good friend of mine. I need to judge myself more like that, or more of my buddy Jay. Just different people who are in the word all the time.
Yeah, I think you shouldn't be at the top of whatever that circle is. So there's one thing, is like, your network is your net worth. And so if you're hanging around and everybody is looking to you, and you never looking up to no one else in terms of just understanding, knowledge, fitness, any category, anything, there should always be someone you're pouring into and someone pouring into you. And it should be a continuous. It should be like go up and down, like someone that's looking up to you and you looking up to someone else. Because if you don't, like I said, if you don't have nobody that can check you, you have a problem. That's just my opinion.
Now, I want to talk about something that I do have a problem with. We mentioned the chair.
We're getting long-winded at this point.
We mentioned the chair, right? And how foolish I was. I want to talk about something that bothers me, right? There's a couple things that I don't agree with financially, but I still, because I make the majority of the finances that we bring into the pot, I try to make sure that I never let my wife feel like I'm the person that's running and making the decisions on the money. But there's a couple things that I have a problem with that she does with our finances. One of them is YouTube TV,
okay,
which I think costs too much. And then another thing is we joined a golf course that's in our neighborhood. We live in a pretty nice neighborhood with a golf course attached. And we joined the golf course because she said she wanted to play golf, but she don't play golf. And I'm trying to figure out why we belong to a golf club. When she doesn't play golf, I don't play golf. We both got golf clubs. But I want to put you on the spot. I think
you should talk to your counselor about that. Because I don't got no words for you right now.
My counselor about you wanting to join the golf club and not play golf.
We want to make sure y'all like.
No. Ain't none of that. We want you to like, subscribe, and share. But I want to know.
What you want to know?
I want to know why you feel like that's a justified.
Which part? The YouTube TV that I record? The
Man, when I said I think she should get rid of YouTube TV, you would have thought I asked her to sleep with another woman.
So I don't watch TV.
She got so upset.
I don't watch TV often, but I will record me some episodes and go back and binge watch it when I have the availability. So that's my leisure time. When it comes to golf, that is something I always wanted to do. I do play when I can. I hurt my hand. I tore whatever that little tendon. So I haven't played golf in how long? Because
how many times have you played?
This year, 0, because I hurt my hand.
How many times did you play last year?
Not enough. How about that? But it's not just golf. It's other things we do at the golf club, which we take advantage of. Now, I mean, that's your answer. I mean, I don't know what else you want.
Yeah.
He played too much to be on this YouTube because he's not gonna edit. So
I don't want you to edit. I still don't agree with it. I'm trying to figure out why we spending all this bread. We could do so much more. You know how much stuff I could buy with that money?
Well,
we could give some money away.
Our membership and your shoes, they balance out. So we good. Say what?
My shoes do not cost as much as that golf membership. Okay. I promise you.
But make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, share, and like if we drop in some nuggets or something, or some flakes, some anything, just let us know. We appreciate it. This is a labor of love. We just trying to do something that's beneficial for our community and show y'all that we don't have it all right. We don't got all the answers. We just have a few answers of the things that we've learned, and we're just sharing it with y'all at the end of the day. Anything else you want to leave with?
Nah, I just hope we all grow together.
For sure.
We definitely are blessed by some of the comments and the feedback that we get. We really appreciate you guys tapping in. The more you like and share, the more that helps us. So we really appreciate your time.
Yeah, hit me up so we can go play golf so he won't be fussing about this membership.
Man.
Bye, y'all. That's it.
Later.